Welcome to Australian Book Travels and to Monday the 9th of September 2024 for our Book Recommendations Day. It is crazy, isn't it? Now, following on from last week, we have still had lots of wind. We have experienced the occasional sunny spring day or spring hours. It has been hours at a time, not a whole day of spring, and a little bit of rain, overnight rain, which is good. It has only been a couple of nights and only a few mil each night, but we are not saying no to that. We really do need rain, so we're happy whatever we get. So that's that. I hope you're all well this week. I hope you've been doing what you want to do or what you need to do. Particularly here in Australia, we're all getting ready. We're in our spring, so we're all getting ready for our spring and summer, whether that be, growing vegetables or getting fire season ready. And of course, in the Northern Hemisphere, you're all in your autumn, which is lovely. You're all getting ready for winter. Yay, exciting. It's all exciting, the change of seasons. I love it. Now, today is cloudy, so I do apologise for the poor lighting. I think I've said before, I do have lighting for the camera, but I think this is okay. I don't think we need glaring lights and, spotlight on the subject. I think we're okay. I think we're doing okay with the lighting that we have. I hope we are anyway. But it is cloudy. There was a little bit of sunshine before, but it's clouding over now. So anyway, let's get on with it. There is a little bit to say today. There are a few books and there is just a few housekeeping stuff that I want to discuss with you. Okay, yeah, there we go. A necessary evil, I'm afraid. Okay, a couple of really exciting ones. So I am not a big romance reader. I do love all of the classics. So Jane Austen, Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, absolutely, just love it. Not necessarily so much for the romance, but the wit and the style of writing and the era, the period that it was set in. But on a more contemporary basis, I'm not a big romance reader. However, I came across The Secret Life of Albert Entwistle by Matt Cain, who is a British writer and writes and advocates for a lot of LGBTQ plus. I hope I've said that right. Is that right? LGBTQ, or is it LBGT? Anyway, you know what I mean. LGBTQ plus issues. And apologies if I've got that wrong, but as in the way to say LGBTQ. I'm sure it's that way, but anyway. So yes, Matt Cain deals a lot on those issues and writes a lot on those issues. The title drew me in first. It was The Secret Life of Albert Entwistle. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. Secret Life. Let's see what happens there. So I bought it and it said it was just a really lovely love story. So I thought, okay, that's fine. But I was pleasantly surprised and really pleased I've read it. This, I don't tell you the whole story, but I will tell you the basics. This is about an older gentleman. I won't say elderly. At my age, I won't say elderly. But he's an older gentleman. He's turning 65. He has worked all of his life in the post office in England, or for the Royal Mail in England. And we find out that he had a love story when he was younger. He fell in love with a young man, and in those days, at that time, it was actually illegal to be gay in England. And so it was very secret. His father was a policeman and absolutely was, I think, misogynistic and prejudiced in all ways, and really had an issue with gay men or gay people, gay men and lesbians. So Albert Entwistle has to keep this love affair secret. Now, that falls apart. The affair falls apart and I'm not going to tell you why, but it falls apart. And Albert spends the rest of his life living with his parents under the most awful circumstances, with sort of a horrible, a mother who really makes him feel low on this. Not that we know that she knows that he's gay, but obviously she believes he is. There's a lot to the story, so that's to be discovered later on. But throughout the story, we find that the mother was really quite horrible and the father was just dastardly. It's just awful. But Albert ends up looking after, his father dies and Albert ends up looking after his elderly mother until he is in his 60s and she dies. She dies and he's left on his own. Actually, he must have been in his 40s or 50s when she died, because he's been on his own, I think, for 18 years. I think it is, since she died. But anyway, so we find him at the age of 64, turning 65, with a lot of pent-up sadness, and he's really retreated into himself. The post office has told him he has to retire, and nobody knows that he's gay, or he certainly hasn't come out as gay. And he was really made by his parent, or by his father, he was really made to feel dirty and unwanted and disgusting, with the father's words. So Albert never came out publicly as gay. He's turning 65, he has to retire, and he has, he reflects on his life. And as a result of that reflection, we then get into the story. As the novel goes along, we find out more and more of what happened in Albert's life. This was absolutely beautiful. I loved it. I enjoyed every moment of it. It was witty. It was sad. It makes you as the reader reflect on your life, because it's not just about being gay. And it's not just about a love story. This is about discovering yourself and evaluating and reevaluating yourself. And, a lot of us have regrets. In fact, most of us have regrets, and how we deal with that and how we move into the future and be a better person, or be the person we really want to be. This, honestly, it was truly beautiful. Now, this is 500 and I think it's about 550 pages. Let me have a look. It is did I say 550? Oh, I meant 450. It's 437 pages, I think. No, I'm fibbing all the way along here. There are 400 and... The story is actually 433. I can't believe... I must have said 500, I'm sure. But anyway, 433, and there are questions here and there are discussions by Matt and all of that. And that leads into 458 pages. So you read the whole 458. Now I think this was published in 2019, actually. Nope. 2021 by Headline Review, which is an imprint of Headline Publishing Group in the UK. Absolutely beautiful. I encourage you to read it, because it's not just about LGBTQ, or is it LBGTQ issues. It's not about that. It's about being your true self, discovering yourself, discovering others, having faith in others, and not always just presuming or reflecting yourself on them. It's about friendship. And there are other stories in here too that then branch into a main branch of the story. So there are friends, or there are people Albert knows, and you find out their story too. So it is about love, it is about trust and friendship and a working life and private life and who we are and what we are and who other people think we are. I absolutely loved it. Now, it was relatively simply written, but it was beautiful. It really was lovely. There were a couple of little saucy bits in here, and I think, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think there was 1 or 2 swear words in here, but nothing outlandish and within keeping. And so it mustn't not have been anything particular because I can't really remember it. So it wouldn't have been too outlandish. I loved it. If you get the opportunity, please read it. I think it will make you rethink who you are and what you are in your life and about other people and humans, and it's wonderful. And it's also about, obviously parental connection and how damaging parents can be, and how, not just parents, but people, and how, if you allow people into your mind and your soul, it can really change and, do so much damage. So it's saying don't do that. Be who you want to be and fight for what you believe in. I absolutely love this. I didn't think I would love it as much as I did. I just thought it was something a little bit different that I could present to you, but I absolutely loved it. So that's The Secret Life of Albert Entwistle by Matt Cain. Absolutely beautiful. That's our first one. Now, this is from Fremantle Press. If you have been watching the channel for a little while, you will know that a few weeks ago, Fremantle Press sent me a few books before releasing. These are the advanced readers copies. And I think last week I showed you Robert Edison's The Worsner's Tale, which I absolutely loved. Australian author, begun in Australia and then goes, the story moves to Kent in the UK. Murder mystery, but a whole lot more than that. Absolutely brilliant writer, Australian, an intelligent read, but so much more than that, an historic read, as well as the mystery and murder. This is another Australian from Fremantle Press. This one is published, I think it's the 1st of October. I have the media release here. The 1st of October it is released. Boy, oh boy. Now, before I tell you anything else, I love my murder mysteries. I love crime fiction, but I am more into the comfy, cozy crime, and generally period style. So anything from, the 1900s or a little bit earlier, even into the late 1800s, with The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins and all of that genre, that style, that era, right through to the 1960s, and even contemporarily written crime fiction, but based in that period, so that 100-year period. I'm not a big reader on current crime fiction or true crime. I tend to watch a lot more of that on television. So your Anne Cleeves, Vera Shetland, all of those. I tend to enjoy the TV productions more than I do reading them. I enjoy them, but not as much as I do enjoy watching them on television. So when I chose these crime fictions, I knew, or I thought that I would be not as necessarily as within my comfort zone of reading crime fiction. And I was wrong. I'm so pleased to say I was wrong. As I say, Robert Edison's The Worsner's Tale was absolutely brilliant, and it was wonderful to read it. Absolutely, I recommend that, and I recommended that last week. This one is current, contemporary. Dave Warner, When It Rains. This is a Dan Clement, Detective Dan Clement's series. I think this is the 13th in the series. Dave Warner is an Australian writer. The story is based in Western Australia and is an Australian story. I did not think I would enjoy this as much as I thoroughly enjoyed this. It was brilliant. Dave Warner is an accomplished writer. I have never read any of his works. Boy, will I be reading his works now. Okay, so this is published by Fremantle Press. This doesn't come out it's not released until the 1st of October. It is approximately 247 pages. Not a long read, but absolutely brilliant. Now, our protagonist is Detective Dan Clement, who is from Broome. There is so much packed into this. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, let me put that down whilst I explain to you. There are a number of stories or situations that we begin, that we find, or Dan finds himself in. There are a couple of crimes that he is investigating. Are they or are they not connected? We don't know. And he has to obviously investigate that. But it's even more intricate than that. And he does weave his way through. Now, to investigate and finalise the crimes. But there's so much I want to say about this because it's really exciting. I'm so pleased I chose this and I read it and I've read it. It's amazing. I cannot see, if you are a crime fiction lover and you want to be involved in and read more Australian authors, Rob Edison and Dave Warner are definitely the two I push out the front to you because they're brilliant. Now, let me explain. Dave Warner, now, over the years, I have read authors who have contracted sentences and contracted paragraphs in their prose. And unfortunately, for whatever reason they have done that, it has not come off well for me as a reader. It has appeared lazy, oftentimes lazy, and just not grammatically correct. And so it has really spoiled the story and the reading of a novel. Dave Warner, whether it is intentional or not, he has protracted sentences and some paragraphs, not fully throughout the novel, but there are contracted or protracted sentences. What this does, which is absolutely brilliant, and as I say, I don't know if Dave Warner has done this deliberately, and it would be very interesting to interview him or listen to an interview and see if it is deliberate. But what it does, and what I found myself doing, on those protracted sentences and those protracted paragraphs, as I say, it's not the complete novel, but it is throughout the novel in short stints. It gives you that sense of urgency, and it's a build-up. And then when we are reading about Dan Clement's private life, Dave Warner seems to extend and go back to normal, what I call normal writing. So we get a complete picture. But this contracted sentencing gives that sense of urgency and not just atmosphere, but that the police procedure. And that's the other thing. Definitely Dave Warner has either been involved with the police or he has sought police advice because he knows his police procedure. This is full of it. It is brilliant, but not to the point where you are bored or that it becomes a lecture. It is meshed into that sense of urgency. It's brilliant. This is brilliant. I will be reading the other 12 in the series. This is brilliant. And if you are into crime fiction, you need to be reading this. It comes out on the 1st of October. So, what else do I want to say about it? We get the police procedure, we get the crime, we get a little bit of his story, his backstory. That's the other thing. I didn't feel as though I had missed out on the other 12 novels. Dave Warner writes it in such a way that you're not missing out. If you haven't read the other novels, that's okay, because we really get a sense of who our detective is, who our protagonist is. So yeah, we have the private life, we have but not too much of it. We have the private life that meshes in very well with his career, his police life. The other thing I really enjoyed about this is, and I know people across the world will enjoy, if they don't already enjoy his novels, is Dave Warner gives you the feeling of Australia, the atmosphere, the heat, the intense heat that we experience in various parts of Australia. And he gives you only very slight Australian colloquialisms that are a bit of Australiana, only slight, which is important, I think, for readers overseas, because Australia has its own quirks. We have our own, particularly in the outback and in country Australia. There is a different way of speaking. There is a different way of... I almost equate, very loosely, but I almost equate the Australian outback and Australian country way of speaking with the English Cockney. It's not, but if you're going to equate it with anything, it's still Australian, but there is its own understanding of day-to-day life. For instance, in Australia, if a farmer or somebody in the outback says to you, you're looking for directions, and they say to you, it's just around the corner, you can be assured that just around the corner is probably about 25 kilometres away, because we are a big country. We are a massive country. Even for us, we're a big country. And so just around the corner is literally, for us, that is, because in a day, 200, 300, 400 kilometres to drive is nothing. Even for us, when I work on the travel videos, we can easily do 500 kilometres easily, just locally. It's easy to do. So in a day, or thereabouts. I mean, that's not everywhere, and that is in country Victoria and outback, certainly thousands of kilometres. So Australia has those Australianisms, and as I say, I equate it often with the English Cockney. They have they're English, and everybody understands them, but there are those localisms, those that rhyming slang, and Australia has a similar thing. Dave Warner doesn't give you an awful lot of that, which is good because he gives you a little bit. It's Australian. You know you're reading an Australian novel, but it's not full of that, which can be not off-putting for some readers overseas, but perhaps it's not as readily understood. So for that, I give Dave Warner full credit. He has done really well by giving the reader that atmosphere, the heat, the intensity. We don't just get heat here. Australia is not just lovely beaches with sunshine. It is burning, intense heat. Even here in central Victoria, there are days you do not go outside. We have the animals inside, they're undercover, you hydrate, and sometimes you very rarely move. And by 9 or 10 o'clock, you are perspiring, let alone in central Australia or in Perth, particularly up north in Perth. There are areas in Australia, in Queensland, where it's more tropical, so you get that humid heat. But here in central Victoria and more intensely in central Australia, it is a very dry, harsh sun. So he gives you that atmosphere. It is Australia, you are in no doubt, and particularly there's discussions on crocodiles. Crocodiles feature in this. So you get the feeling of the vastness, because in Australia, some places you don't drive. You have to actually fly from one town to another. And of course, we have the Royal Flying Doctor Service here, where in central Australia and outback Australia, the only way people can get medical treatment is through the Royal Flying Doctor Service. So I absolutely recommend this. It was fantastic. I genuinely could not put it down. I did not want to put it down. I had to put it down to do things around the property and, complete my daily tasks. But Dave Warner has done a brilliant job, and I am definitely going to be buying his other novels. Well done, brilliant. I recommend this as much as even though it is different to Robert Edson's, and I apologise if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, but The Worsner's Tale, it is different, but they are both intelligent reads, and this really, the way Dave Warner has written this really gives you that sense of urgency when it's needed in the investigation, and then that beautiful writing where you can relax, and he talks about the private life of our protagonist. It's brilliant. I recommend it. 1st of October, available through Fremantle Press. It will be available through all good independent bookshops, as we say. I do recommend getting it from independent bookshops, because we do need to keep our independent bookshops alive. This is really important. But failing that, Fremantle Press, if you are in Australia, 2 books, and you buy 2 books and you get free post anywhere in Australia. If you are overseas, Fremantle Press, when you buy the books, it will tally up, and they will tally up the post at the end when you go to your cart and you go to checkout. But they've told me that they are doing the best deals they can with Australia Post. So you'll get the best deal that you can for post from Fremantle Press. But if you can, definitely order it or buy it through your independent bookshop. This is absolutely fantastic. 1st of October, Dave Warner, When It Rains. And it is a series, but you don't have to read the rest of the series to enjoy that book. So that's those 2, absolutely brilliant. I recommend them. Now, you all know that I cannot encourage you enough as an adult to read children's books. This is really important. It is important for all of us to not, as grown-ups, as adults, to not take ourselves so seriously that we think we're too mature to read a children's book. We are not. Children's books are for everyone, and they can not only help reduce stress, as all good fiction novels do, but they are wonderful to help improve your literacy, to be able to view the world from children's viewpoint, and to encourage and reignite that your imagination, your passion, and sometimes to reignite or to remind you of your past, your childhood. I saw this during the week. It was advertised by Castlemaine's, my favourite bookshop in Castlemaine, which is Stoneman's Book Room in Castlemaine here in central Victoria. This was advertised on their Facebook page and I looked at it and loved it. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is the Grown-Up's Guide to Picture Books. This is written by Lara Kane Gray and illustrated by Timothy Ide and Lorena Carrington. All Australian. This is all Australian. Now this has, just giving you the lowdown first before I begin, this is published by, I've just noticed something else there, by Midnight Sun in 2024. And it was developed as part of a Creative Time residential fellowship provided by the May Gibbs Children's Literature Trust. Now, you all know May Gibbs is a very famous children's author from the turn of last century. She's one of our famous and favourite children's authors. She wrote Cuddle Pie and Snuggle Pot and all of those beautiful, and she illustrated them as well. This book the illustrations are absolutely stunning. Let me show you the illustrations first. Absolutely stunning, honestly. I hope you can all see that. Let's have a look. Some more there. This book is for adults to help you read to children or help you read a children's book to children, grandchildren, or for yourself as an adult, to help understand sometimes the hidden messages behind children's books and the illustrations, and to help you read them with that in mind to children. For instance, okay, look at that. I just have to show you that. That's absolutely stunning illustration. Wow. The other thing, before I go on, the other thing I want to press about children's books is we must remember they are written by adults. So if adults are writing children's books, why not, as an adult reader, respect and appreciate by reading children's books? Why not? If they're written by adults, why are a lot of us thinking we're too good for that, or a children's book is not for me, I'm past that? No, nobody is past that. Get yourself down. Whether it's this sort of children's book or the books that I've shown you, the Alice Miranda books by Jacqueline Harvey, Amelia Mallour, her books, The Bookseller's Apprentice, May Gibbs, any book, Enid Blyton, it doesn't matter. The Secret Seven there, The Secret Garden, The Railway Children. Honestly, do yourself a favour and get back to reading children's books. They are surprisingly advanced in their literary production and their presentation. So, getting back to this book, the reason why I bought this, and look at the end papers as well. They have a little bookworm there. I don't know if you can see that. Right, now, the reason why this book... Okay, let me read it for you. It says here, Praise for the Grown-Up's Guide to Picture Books. This stunning book guides readers through storytelling structures, offering classroom activities and encouraging a lifelong love of picture books. An empowering must-own for authors and illustrators, educators and readers. Long live the power of a picture book. Absolutely this is absolutely beautiful. Now, I get so passionate and excited about this because I really want to encourage everyone to read. And, you know, whether you're an adult or a child, it doesn't matter. Just get in there and read because it is so good for you. So this says A is for animals. Okay, there we are. A is for animals. Ever wondered why so many picture books use animals rather than people as the central characters? From dancing dogs to wily wolves, the reasons are both historical and psychological. And then it goes on as to why children's books have animals in them. Charlotte's Web, for instance. B is for baddies. First things first, let's stop thinking of them as bad guys. The nasty types in picture books come in all guises, not limited to gender or even species. So what is the point of a baddie? And then it goes on and tells you what the point of a baddie is. And so forth, right through from A to Z. I recommend this for all adults. If you have children, if you have grandchildren, or if you just want to understand children's books more, do yourself a favour. This is an all Australian. Go out and buy it. I did, and I'm so glad I did. It will help you understand why children's books are the way they are. It will help you understand why your children or why your grandchildren, what they're learning from these books and why they think the way they do once they've read the books. It's brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant and I recommend it. Fantastic. So that's that one. I'm hoping I'm not going on too much here. I will be quick with these next couple. This next book will feature in further videos, probably our sneaky midweekers when I talk to you and work my beehives with you. This I bought from Waggle and Forage, who are Ali and Joe are my beekeeping supply business. I bought this, I think it was about $10. I'm sure, I can't remember, but I bought it just this last weekend. This is the Gardener's Quiz and Puzzle Book. This is by Simon Ackroyd and Dr. Gareth Moore. It's published by Exile Publishing, and I think it was this year. No, this one was 2019, first published. This is absolutely brilliant. I won't go on about it because we will discuss it later, but this is English. It is a guide to flowers. But it asks you, it's not just a guide, it actually quizzes you on what you know about flowers and herbs and flower beds and trees and terminology, but we'll get on to that later. This is a really good one for gardeners and beekeepers. Now, going on with cookbooks, as I try to always slip a cookbook in, this is an English publication or an English writer, Apple, Recipes from the Orchard by James Rich. It's a hardback, absolutely beautiful. I've had this for a few years now, but it is still available. This was published in... It's not going to tell me, is it? No, why is that? Why won't it tell me when you were published? Sorry, everyone. It's Hardy Grant Books has published it. Where are you? Come on, tell me more. Tell me more. Sorry, everyone. Sorry. Oh, it's not telling me. Bother. Where are you? Oh, it might be at the back. That'll be... When were you published? It has an index here. Anyway, let's not worry about that. If I find it, I'll pop it in the subtitles below. This is... It tells you... It gives you... When you're cooking, or even when you are growing your own food... This gives you an insight into all of the apples available. Now, some of them are not available here in Australia. Some apples we have here in Australia are not available overseas. So there will be that sort of hole, if you wish, that missing point between apples, between countries. But this gives you a basic insight, or a very good insight, not just a basic insight, into types of apples. Then it goes on to give you what you need to preserve apples in sterilising jars, etc. There's some beautiful photography, absolutely beautiful, and recipes. But what I really like about this is, because I do have a lot of recipe books, and this specialises in recipes dealing and specialising with apples. But what I really like about this is the type of apples and what they are good for, what they are best for, whether that's preserving or whether it's cooking or whether it's eating straight off the tree. If you want to know more about your cooking and appreciate it more, these type of books are really important, whether it's on apples or grapes or cheeses or milks or pastries or breads or flour. Really, when you really are serious about cooking, it's important to know these things because it can help. It makes the difference sometimes very much on the ingredients that you use. It makes a difference on what the outcome is in your cooking. So look, if you're cooking and you're cooking with beautiful food, it doesn't really matter. But if you really want to get serious, then these sort of books are definitely for you. This is a beautiful hardcover. It has almost like a textured feel to it. It's also embossed, but it has a texture, not quite a linen feel, but that sort of texture. So yes, absolutely beautiful. Oh, hang on, I'll show you a beautiful, ooh, that's lovely. So yes, this is Apples, Recipes from the Orchard by James Rich. It is English. I do have a couple of other Australian versions, which I will show you in time, but this is definitely one to buy if you're wanting a recipe book, if you're wanting to know more about the ingredients that you are cooking with, and indeed, if you are growing your own ingredients. So that's good. So that's that one. This one we will discuss at a further time. Gardener's Quiz and Puzzle Book. Looks really interesting. I bought it on the weekend. I flicked through it. Looks really interesting. Australian author, Australian illustrators. Absolutely beautiful. The Grown-Ups Guide to Picture Books. Please do yourself a favour. We're not too mature. We're not too adult to read picture books and children's books and understand them and try to understand them. Cracker, an absolute cracker from Dave Warner, When It Rains. This is not available yet. It will be on the 1st of October. It is by Fremantle Press. Absolutely brilliant, everyone. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Wow is all I can say. That was absolutely... And look, it's not too gruesome as well, this. There is a bit of yucky crime in it, but it's not too gruesome. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. And The Secret Life of Albert Entwistle by Matt Cain, another brilliant novel. Heartwarming, thought-provoking, really enjoyed it. That's it, everyone. I can take my glasses off. I'll be blind now. I can just barely see the camera. Don't forget we have our book competition. I will be uploading a video on the 1st of October. That is Tuesday, the 1st of October, with all of the questions and all of the details on how to enter. Please do. There will be at least 2 winners, one in the Southern Hemisphere and one in the Northern Hemisphere, and we are trying to promote independent bookshops by ordering the books respective books from independent bookshops in those hemispheres, North and South. And also... what else also? Yes, we're trying to support independent bookshops. Oh, and it will be a book in your genre, but of our choosing. So it will be a surprise for you. That's that. We have travel videos coming up on Saturday. I will, in a couple of weeks' time, I will be sending out a video because I will be taking a break for a couple of weeks, not from the book recommendation videos, but from the travel videos. That will be in a few weeks' time, and there is a reason for that, and I will explain that in a few weeks. So that's all the housekeeping. I hope you're all well. I hope you're enjoying life wherever you are. Please do enjoy life. And one thing I wanted to say too, something very important which really made an impression on me this week, speaking to friends. A couple of friends had a couple of issues that they wanted to discuss with me that they had in their private life. And I really need to say this. Do not listen to negative people in your life. There is so much negativity around. You don't have to be in a fantasy world. You don't have to be ignorant of what is going on in the world, but be very mindful. And I know you're all capable of doing this. I'm really probably telling you all, grandma how to suck eggs really, but sometimes we all need reminders. And the reminder is don't listen to negative people. Don't allow negative people in your space. Yes, there are horrible things that go on in the world. Yes, there are people who will try to bring you down. Don't let them. They obviously have their own issues. You don't need them in your life. Positivity brings about more positivity. It brings about beautiful things in your life. The more positive you are, don't listen to statistics of what will happen or what may happen. Statistics are not always, well, they're not right anyway. So don't listen to all of that. I really am quite strong on this. I don't normally like to tell people what to do or what to think, but absolutely, when it comes to negative people, don't listen to them. You do what is right for you, so long as you're not hurting other people deliberately. We all hurt people unintentionally. We can't help that. That's what happens because we're all different. But so long as you're not intentionally hurting someone, and so long as you're doing what is right for you, leave the negative people behind. You just need people in your life who support you, who buoy you, buoy you up, who are supportive. Maybe they don't necessarily understand what you want to do. If you have an idea in your head and you want to do it and they don't necessarily understand it, or they're not forthright or capable of doing it themselves. But so long as they say to you, look, that sounds like a great idea. I'm here if you need me to help you in any way. That's the sort of positivity you need. And that's what I want I just need to let you know. We don't need any more negativity in our lives. Go with the positive people. We don't have to be silly about it. We're not all in fairyland and everything's rosy and all of that. It's not always rosy. Life isn't always rosy. And I, of all people at my age particularly, I know that. But now at my age, I really don't want negativity in my life. To my younger self, I would say, just don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to the negativity. If you need to do something or you want to do something and you think it's a good idea and it fits in perfectly with what's happening in your life, then by all means do it. Because life is, at the end of the day, it is short. It goes quickly. And we all need to be happy. We can't be happy all the time. Life is not always happy, but you really need as much happiness in your life as possible, because at the end of the day, some things that I worried about years ago, I can't even remember what I was worried about. Today, as I sit here, I can't even remember what I was worried about. Sometimes I do, but only because it was a significant thing in my life. But all of those little day-to-day things, and yet I do remember the people who were negative to me or about me or about what I wanted to do, about things in my life. I remember those, but I don't remember the negativity, the worry that I had, what it was all about. So that's just a word from me. Take it with a pinch of salt, but I just needed to say that because it seemed to feature with some friends this past week, and I just thought it was perhaps a timely reminder for all of us. Just be happy as you can, be as positive, surround yourself with as much positivity, even if it's a little thing in the day that you really enjoy, a lovely cup of coffee, a nice biscuit, or drawing, or reading, or lighting a candle, having a bath, going for a walk. Surround yourself with beautiful activities and beautiful things and positive things. I don't know. If any of you out there need to hear that, then I'm happy to have said it. If you don't, you've probably switched off by now, and that's okay too. Okay, everyone, I will see you next travel video or next book recommendation. I have a lot, actually, there's a lot coming up. But as I say, there is also a period of time that I'm going to take a break just for a couple of weeks. I'm taking a break from the travel videos because they are time consuming, but I'm not taking a break from the channel. I will be working paddling like a duck underwater for the channel. But just for a couple of weeks, I think I will be taking a break. But I'll let you know more on that in the coming weeks. Okay, everyone, have a wonderful week until I see you next. Please, if you do like these videos, any video on the channel, please do subscribe, like, and share. It costs you nothing apart from a bit of time just to press those buttons. And it does help us eventually. So that I can present more to you. You know, this is not about getting thousands of dollars to have a wage. This is just a little bit of money to pay for petrol, to pay for, going on location. Because, we've bought the camera and I buy the books, and Fremantle Press are very kindly sending me the advanced readers copies so that I can present them to you. So that all helps. But just every like or every subscription and every time you watch, it is now starting to help the channel produce a couple of dollars, not much, but a couple of dollars. And it's really exciting because it then helps me present more to you. So I know sometimes that's not always clear with YouTube videos, but yeah, I just wanted to let you know that every time you comment or you like or you watch, particularly if you watch and subscribe, it does help me just to a couple of dollars to pay for petrol or to help go towards a book that I buy so that I can present it to you. Anyway, enough of that. Have a wonderful week and enjoy. Do everything and anything that makes you happy on the inside. And I will see you next video. Take care, everyone. Happy reading, safe travels. Bye for now.